Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. The place where we decode the language is like a corporate breaking news report. Think of it as us reading the fine print so you don't have to, and maybe even finding a few surprises along the way. Before we get started, if you find value in turning complicated documents into understandable insights, hit that subscribe button. Also, join our Discord community. The link is in the description below so you can chat about all the exciting corporate news with fellow business enthusiasts. Today we're looking at a report from SpartanNash Co. This isn't their usual quarterly earnings, but it's still important. It's a report about what happened at their yearly meeting for shareholders, which is like a town hall for company owners. The meeting covered electing directors, executive pay, and even some changes to company rules. We will see how these votes unfolded and what they mean for the direction of the company. This report is dated May 21, 2025, meaning the events discussed happened on or around that date. It's like a snapshot of a specific moment in the company's timeline. The main point of this report is to share what happened at SpartanNash's annual meeting. Companies hold these meetings every year to allow shareholders to vote on important issues and voice their opinions. At the meeting, about 90% of the shares were represented, which means a good majority of the owners participated in the decisions. This is how many shares were able to vote. It was around 33 million. That's a lot of people having a say in how things are run. First up, shareholders voted to elect the people who will sit on the board of directors. These are the folks who help guide the company's strategy. Think of them as the experienced captains steering the ship. The report lists each nominee, how many votes they got for them, how many votes were withheld, and something called broken non-votes. 4 is pretty self-explanatory. Withheld means people didn't want to vote for that person. Broken non-votes are votes that brokers who hold shares for clients didn't cast because they didn't get instructions from their clients. Let's look at one of the nominees, Shen Atkins. She got over 25 million votes in favour, about 1.5 million votes were withheld, and around 3.7 million were broken non-votes. The other nominees have similar numbers. It looks like all the nominees were elected since the 4 votes are much higher than the withheld votes. Next, shareholders got to vote on whether they approved of how much the top executives were being paid. This vote is advisory, meaning the company doesn't have to follow it, but it's a good way to gauge how shareholders feel about executive pay. The results show that over 24 million votes were cast in favour of the executive pay, while about 2.2 million were against, and a small amount, around 64,000, abstained, which means they didn't express an opinion either way. Again, there were also broken non-votes. Overall, it seems like a majority of shareholders were okay with the executive compensation. Another thing shareholders voted on was whether to approve the company's choice of Deloitte & Touche as their independent accounting firm for the year. This firm is like a financial watchdog, making sure the company's books are in order. Here the vote was overwhelmingly in favour with over 29 million votes for and only around 24,000 against. This means shareholders trust this accounting firm to do a good job. Then there was a proposal from the company's management to change the bylaws. Bylaws are like the company's rulebook. This particular change was about giving shareholders the right to call special meetings. The proposal was to allow shareholders who own at least 25% of the company's stock to call a special meeting. A special meeting is like an emergency meeting to address urgent issues. The vote shows that over 25 million votes were cast in favour of this change, while around 450,000 were against. This means shareholders wanted more power to call meetings when necessary. Finally, there was a proposal from a shareholder, not from the company itself. This proposal was similar to the previous one, but it wanted to give shareholders the right to call a special meeting with only 15% ownership. However, this proposal was rejected. Only about 10 million votes were cast in favour, while almost 16 million were against. So shareholders didn't want to lower the ownership threshold to 15%. And that covers the main points of this report. And so, what's the takeaway? This report is all about corporate governance, which is how a company is run and who gets to make decisions. The shareholders voted on several important items. They showed they trust the current directors, are mostly okay with how executives are paid, and want to make it easier to call special meetings, but not too easy. Etcha now, let's zoom out and look at what this might mean for SpartanNash. It looks like the shareholders generally agree with the direction the company is going. The votes for the directors and the accounting firm were very strong. This suggests that shareholders are confident in the current leadership and financial oversight. However, the fact that a proposal to lower the threshold for calling special meetings was even brought up suggests some shareholders want more influence on company decisions. While the 25% threshold was approved, the push for 15% indicates a desire for greater shareholder power, and that could be a point of contention in the future. Overall, SpartanNash seems to be in a stable position, but it's important to keep an eye on how the company balances management's decisions with the desires of its shareholders. A healthy balance usually leads to better long-term performance. It's also notable that these decisions could lead to more long-term stability of the company. Alright, that's our breakdown of SpartanNash's latest filing. What's your take on these votes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description so you can continue the conversation with our awesome community. Thanks for watching. See you next time.